Alright, David Harry here, and in this video I'm going to be going through a step-by-step installation of the Glasswarrior screen protector by Benks for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now just a quick word of warning, I ran into a bit of a problem partway through this installation. However, I fixed the problem and the end results are absolutely fantastic, so please do watch as much of this video as you can so you can see what the problem was and how I got about it. So what I'm going to do first is to show you the contents of the box that the screen protector comes in. So there is the box there, and you know, as far as boxes go, it is a nice box. So if you're into presentation, I'm quite sure you'd be happy with that. Me personally, those things don't mean anything to me. I'm just more concerned about what comes in the box and that it does its job properly. Also, we have a tray here that everything fits inside of to go inside the box, and I can say that all of this is kind of packaged really well for when it's in transit. So what we've got here is the actual tempered glass screen protector, and that is built into the installation applicator as well. And then on the end here we've got our cleaning kit. I'll get into that shortly. And then finally inside the actual tray there we've got some kind of a kit manual thing. However, for the sake of this video, let's just assume that I'm the manual. So as far as the contents of the cleaning kit is concerned, what we've got here is an anti-dust sticker. You'll see me use that shortly. Then we've got our drying cloth here. Again, I'll get into that when I start using it. We've also got a wet wipe here, obviously self-explanatory. It goes along with the drying cloth to clean the screen of your phone. Now on the end here, we've got these anti-static tabs. Now I do not know what they are for. These actually do look like originally like alignment tabs that you would have when you have a tempered glass screen protector which doesn't have an applicator. So I'm not entirely sure what their use is here, because I most certainly will be using this sticker here, which is like the anti-dust sticker. However, this thing here, whatever it's for, I will not be using it. Now just before I get into this, I'm just going to explain a few things. It will make this a little bit easier. So first thing is, make sure that your hands are properly cleaned and dried as well. The last thing you want to be doing is having any grease from your fingers getting onto the phone screen at any time during this application, because it might just like wreck the installation of the screen protector. Now the next thing to be aware of here is, as I'm doing this, I'm going to be doing a bit of talking, and I won't be doing this as quickly as I would do if I wasn't doing a demonstration. So on that point, at any time when I go through what I'm doing here, what you need to do is move to the next stage as quickly as you can. So we're going to clean the screen first, we're going to dry it, we're going to take the dust off the screen, then we're going to apply the screen protector. I'll be talking during those things. When you do it, move on to those sections as quickly as you can. Don't actually do each section dead quick, but move between them as quickly as you can. And the reason why is because we don't want any more dust that's necessary and stuff to be settling on the phone screen in between doing these things. Now, as far as the orientation of the phone and the applicator are concerned, looking at the phone here, this is the top of the phone. We might not be able to see it, but that's where the camera is on the phone. So what we need to do is line up the applicator that way over the phone when it goes on. Do not try and put it on that way. Put it on that way. So to be clear, that there is the orientation, and there's the camera end of the phone. Now if you get one of these applicators, it may have this sticker over here which says please watch the installation video before applying the screen protector. Well, I'm obviously the installation video for you in this instance, so what I'm going to do here is to just remove that sticker. It's basically just a message obviously, and it's in the most clearest place for you to see it, which is why it's there. However, I've taken it off now, but you know exactly what it was that was on there. And then the last thing to mention here is I've obviously got my iPhone resting on a cloth. Now this just happens to be a lens cloth, and the reason why I'm doing this is because obviously when the iPhone is on its back here, it is resting on its lenses. So I just want to give those lenses a bit of protection in case the iPhone starts moving about as I'm doing what I'm going to do to it. Now, if you haven't got a cloth to hand, even something like a bit of kitchen roll would be good, but I would strongly recommend just putting your iPhone on top of something else so that there's no way you can damage or scratch the lenses off the cameras. So with all that said and done, let me get into it then. So the first thing is I'm just going to rip open that package there, which has got this wet wipe in. So let me just open up that wet wipe. Now what I'm going to do here is obviously start cleaning the phone's screen. Now, as I always mention with these types of things, what you need to do is make sure that you give a good clean around all of the edges here, because it's mostly the edges where you're likely to have had like grease and grime accumulated and whatnot, and that's exactly what we need to get off in order for the actual tempered glass to adhere properly onto the phone or onto the phone screen. Now, obviously, whilst I say yes, make sure that we've got all the edges sorted, also make sure that we've got really clean middle on the screen as well. And as you can see here, it's not like I'm going super fast doing this, and I would recommend you don't go super fast doing it here. We need to make a really good job of this to get the best results out of applying the screen protector. Anyway, that should do for me there. However, you might want to take a little bit more time than I have. It's just that I'm trying to do this all in one go for you so you can see what's going on, but I don't want this to be too boring for you. So what I'm going to do now is to use the drying cloth to take off any excess fluid that may be on the screen. However, just a quick point, as you could see just then, as I was kind of cleaning the screen, the phone was actually moving quite a bit on the table, so definitely a good idea to have something protective under the lenses when you're doing this. Okay, so I'm just going to get that drying cloth there, and once again just get right into the edges maybe to kick off with, and then what this is going to do is just to take off any residual fluid that may still be on the phone's screen from the actual cleaning cloth there, or the wet wipe. So like I said, the drying cloth is really only to take off any excess fluid that might still be on the screen, and basically it's going to leave the screen bone dry, which is exactly what we want, because we want this to be super dry and super clean before applying the tempered glass. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's probably me done here. However, like I say, you take as much time as you want on each of the steps. But like I said before, go to each of the steps as quickly as you can from the previous one to the next one, just so you can mitigate the buildup of dust and crap on your screen and stuff. Okay, so I think I've sufficiently cleaned and dried my screen enough there. Now the next thing is this anti-dust sticker, and this is simply to remove any excess dust which may have built up on your screen before applying the actual screen protector, which is, like I said before, is the reason why you want to be quick going between the steps. Anyway, to do this, what we do, we just peel this off. It's like the back of it's sticky, as it were, so it just peels off there. And literally all we do with this, we just kind of dab it over the phone's screen. Now the thing is, if your phone was the same size as that, I'd just put the whole thing on the screen. However, as we'll see here, that wouldn't actually fit the entire screen. So what I'm going to do is literally just rest it down and dab it across the screen, as we can see, like that. And what this is going to do is to pick off any excess dust that's going on the phone here. Okay, so I'm kind of happy that this has, done its job and stuff like that. Not that I could see any dust on the screen anyway, but it's always good to just to have this final little go to remove the dust. Okay, so just before I get on any further, what I'm going to do here is pick out this foam piece out of the actual applicator. I've got the applicator lined up the correct way, so I'm just going to push that down. Now what we're going to find here is that this is kind of like a perfect fit over the phone, and it would have to be in order for it to be aligning the glass properly. But like I say, it doesn't budge, so it just slides over the phone, and it is no wobbling to it or nothing like that. Then what we do, we get this green tab at the end here, right? And then we just pull the green tab, And then what that will have done there is to have removed the like protective cellophane layer on the glass itself. So let me get rid of that. And then what we need to do here, we'll start seeing that the foam might start settling itself, or so the glass might start settling itself. However, what we have here is this push mechanism. It's like a roller for applying down the glass to the phone, or the tempered glass to the phone. So what I'm going to do here is just start pushing this. So I'm going to push down and push it up that way. So let me just try this. Hold on. Okay, that's not as easy as... Oh, wait there. Oh, there we go. It's starting now. So let me just start pushing that up to the top. Now this is properly pushing down the tempered glass onto the phone's screen. So I've just pushed that right up there, but immediately I can see a bubble there. Now I don't know whether that bubble's on the tempered glass or the other protection that's on this side of the tempered glass. Let me just try something here. Does this go back? Okay, look, that goes back that way. So it might be worth it for you, actually. In fact, let me just pause here to explain something. This thing here looks like it's got a roller underneath it to push down on the glass. So what I'm going to recommend, if you've got any, or if you can see any kind of bubbles at the edge of things, it might just be worth going backwards and forwards a little bit with this thing here, see? And then maybe that might just push out any bubbles that you may have, which might be collecting towards the edges. For me, I'm not too sure whether that's on the tempered glass underneath or on top. So, with that said, what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to put one finger into the center there and start lifting this off. And then what we should be able to see at the top here, it's lifting another protective cellophane layer off the actual tempered glass. Now, let me see, was that bubble there in between this cellophane layer? And no, that bubble is actually on the phone. Oh dear. Okay, so let me just lift that right off. Okay, as we can see here, this is a little bit disappointing, I've got to be very honest. Although, like, you know, this was sent to me to review, I've got to be honest about these things. I am very disappointed with that. Right, okay, I'm going to pause again here just to make a point. The whole point with these things, right, is to make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen, okay? So these things should be putting these screen protectors on straight for the start and without all of these bubbles and stuff. Now, you've seen it. I cleaned that phone properly just then, or the screen. So there could be a chance that what causes bubbles like that is that you might have a bit of grease or grime on the screen. But you could clearly see I cleaned that screen properly. So I'm going to say this is the fault of the installation system and not me at this point. Now, what you can do to try and get around this is you would lift the glass up at the closest corner to where the bubble is, and then just lift it back to the bubble. You consume the bubble and then let the glass resettle itself. However, in this instance, that bubble is kind of close to the middle here, so it's a lot of lifting back that I'm going to have to do here, but I'll show you all this anyway in real time as I'm doing it. I'm sorry now, this video has gotten quite boring and long, but I've got to show you this because obviously there's a problem. Now, I'm just going to get my fingernail just under the glass here. I'm going to try and lift the glass up at the edge. Okay, there we go. As you can see, I've now got it there. We can see that there's like a bubble appearing in this corner now where my finger's lifting it up. So the idea is for me to slowly lift the glass up. Just take me time. Try not to put your fingernail right under the glass because you might be putting like extra grime under the glass and whatnot. So what's going to happen, as we can see with this bubbles appearing that I'm creating by lifting the glass, it will consume this bubble in a second. Watch. There we go. So it's caught up. Oh no, that bubble split again. I'm going to have to pull it back even further. Right, there we go. So as we can see now, that whole bubble is consumed by what I've just opened up. So what I'm going to do now is start slowly putting the glass back down again. And then hopefully what happens now, this big bubble that we've created by lifting up the glass, hopefully once this starts settling itself down, it is going to then just like, you know, even out properly. So I'm just going to let go of the glass. And as we can see, that bubble is coming right back down here. Oh, that looks like it's going to work. Oh, nearly. Right, okay. So what it is, when the bubbles are right on the edge like that, what we can do is try and push them out. So I'm going to use the cloth here to try and... Oh, there we go, yeah. Right. That bubble there, no. Okay. Right, it looked like it was definitely going to come out, but it hasn't. And I don't want to sit here doing this all day. Right, I'm going to have to just lift up the screen again. Hold on. And this is not ideal, don't get me wrong. This is something that you should not have to do. However, I'm just showing you just so that you know that it is something that can hopefully sort the problem. Okay, so I've kind of consumed those little bubbles there. I'll let it settle again. Once again, I'm getting another bubble there. And I know for a fact that I cleaned this screen properly. Right, I'm not going to be happy here until every single bubble has come away, you know, from underneath the glass. Okay, and I've got to be dead honest, I'm not particularly happy either. Right, hold on. There are still 2 tiny little bubbles there. Now, the problem with doing what I'm doing right now, I could actually be making things slightly worse in this corner because I'm lifting up the glass all the time and I'm putting it back down. There could be a bit of dust getting under there now. Do you know what I mean? After it was all cleaned. Okay, wait a minute. Right, and let me just push on this for a bit. I'm really sorry about this. I know this video has now got no people watching it because who wants to watch this stupidity going on here? However, it looks like I've now pushed the bubble right off the edge. Okay, right, so what it is, right now, everything has sorted itself out, okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is just clean off all my gungy palm prints and everything off the glass. I'll switch the phone on and let's have a look how well it has actually gone onto the actual phone. Okay, so now having had a look at the tempered glass after it's gone on, I've got to say, it actually does look great. What I'm going to try and do here is to just get a close-up, and I'll try and move the camera past the phone or the phone past the camera slowly, and we can kind of see what's going on. Now, the thing is, I've got to say immediately, no, I was not happy at all with the fact that I got bubbles there, okay? And I said that, and you definitely shouldn't have these things when paying for a premium protector like this one, which has got a nice fancy, you know, kind of like application tool to it and stuff like that. However, I've got to say the actual end result is absolutely fantastic. Now, as far as the phone's touch sensitivity is concerned, there is absolutely no problems with this screen protector on. Let me just navigate into the settings here and just kind of whiz in and out of some stuff. Let's see. Let me just go into all this stuff here. Again, absolutely perfect. There's no messing around. And it hasn't missed a beat on anything that I'm doing here. So, yeah, that is all fine as far as I'm concerned. So, touch sensitivity, there is absolutely no issue. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to just pop the phone into a few different cases and see if it will still go into the cases with this Benks tempered glass on it. And as we can see here in the first case that I've tried here, the phone fits in perfectly, and the tempered glass does not interfere with the case gripping the phone. And there's also no problems with this case either, and this is actually a chunkier case than the first one that I just tried. And as you can clearly see, the tempered glass is fitting well within the inside of the case there, whilst the phone is in the case. And just for another case to test, this is probably my favourite Benks case for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So it's really good that the iPhone 15 Pro Max still fits inside this case with the tempered glass on. Now, what's interesting here, if I turn it so it's face down like that, there is still actually enough of a slight lip on the actual case so that the tempered glass isn't touching the actual table. So right now the phone is still resting on the case, so that's really good news, because although the tempered glass is there to protect the phone screen, it would be nice if it does get placed down like that the tempered glass isn't being scratched, and in this instance it is not. And as you can see here, this case has got a really cool pattern to it. This is one of the Kevlar Kevlar cases by Benks. In fact, there will actually be a link to this case in the video description below. Okay, so to an end summary then, and the first thing that I've got to say is I'm really sorry about the length of this video. However, there was a problem and I needed to show that problem to people. What it is, anytime I get sent stuff, I just don't do reviews like, you know, to favor the manufacturer, and I'm fairly sure Benks might not be like so cool about me showing that particular issue that I had. However, I am not going to hold back when I come across issues with any products. I will always point them out. Now, the thing is though, although I was obviously very upset and quite angry when I seen that problem because it should not happen, I've got to be dead honest, and I've already said it. Having done the extra messing around to lift the screen up and get rid of the bubbles and stuff, this screen protector is absolutely fantastic. I've got to say, it is awesome. Now, would I recommend it? Even in spite of the fact that I had those problems, 100% I would recommend getting this screen protector. Now the thing is, just remember, if you do have any issues with the bubbles, just go back and into this video and see what I done to get rid of them. However, I've got to say, the extra messing around is definitely worth it for the results that I've had here, and the alignment of the actual fit is absolutely spot on. And I've got to say, well, it's difficult to say what it is. Any tempered glass screen protector that you put over your iPhone screen will always increase things like, like light reflections and stuff like that. And, if you're going to be all technical about it, it's going to drop light off the screen and stuff like that, or like the screen's own light and stuff like that. However, I've got to say, I don't know. It's probably the best tempered glass screen protector I've put on this particular phone, okay? I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, listen, there's going to be like links and whatnot in the video description below. If you've liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. A sub to the channel will be absolutely awesome. And keep an eye out for more of these Benks things that I've got to review as well. I'm David Harry. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.